Hello viewer, welcome and thank you for joining me, Henry Minor, on yet another segment of your date with GBS. Today we are privileged to be with the third Secretary General of Kenya Post-Primary Union of Teachers. He is none other than Akelo Misori. He has taught for the last 21 years and there is no one else who understands to be in a classroom like his members are on a day-to-day basis. Thank you very much, Mr. Akelo Misori, for joining us.
Thank you so much, viewers.
Yes, yeah. Very much welcome.
Thank you so much.
We've heard of Akelo Misori. Who is Akelo Misori out of the KUPPET?
Akelo Misori is a teacher, but first of all, I'm a family man. I was born 49 years ago.
Wow, okay.
And I went to normal primary school, normal secondary school, and high school, and went to Kenyan colleges. First trained as a diploma education teacher at River Teachers College, now Maseno University.
Okay. And
then later I went to Kenyatta University to take my bachelor's in education. And besides that, I'm a family man. I'm married for the last 21 years, yes. And I'm privileged to have a daughter who is now a second year in the university.
What was your dream as a child?
I had wanted to become a doctor. Yeah, doctor for this matter, but because in the environment you shift your gear depending on the interests which come your way.
Okay.
Now later I also admired becoming a teacher because as I said that in the rural environment it is only teachers who are visible, and in my home many of the visitors in the home were visitors, and my first brothers-in-laws were teachers. So I became interested in being smart like a teacher, and therefore that is how I got encouraged to be one.
Your teaching experience, how was it?
My teaching experience was very challenging. I trained to teach humanities, religious studies, social education and ethics, and even home economics. And when I started to teach, I also became interested in sports. And as a teacher, I was involved in co-curricular activities. I was first involved in music and drama, and then particularly training dances. And then I also became a very active member of the games department. And I coached football for the first 10 years I was a teacher. And my team became successful, and we played both at the district and the provincial level. How
did you come to join KUPPET?
You know, sometimes in 1986-87, there was a clamor for a new union for representing teachers. And the kind of clamor came from Kenyatta University, where teachers, trainees from the university felt that they were duped. So when I joined teaching, and in 1992, there was a wave of another agitation for better pay. And Kenya National Union of Teachers had moved to industrial court to compel the government to pay them. Then Justice Coker then did award teachers 2%. And when I walked to the KNUT office in my district where I worked, called Migori district, the executive secretary of KNUT told me that the secondary school teachers had a better deal. Then I asked him whether he was aware that a better deal of 2% was just merely 180 shillings on top of the teacher salary. So I felt that there was a need for another union.
How long have you been the Secretary General of KUPPET?
Currently I've been a Secretary General for 1.5 years.
From the childhood of KUPPET,
yeah.
What have you seen it grow to?
I think when I came to KUPPET, the membership of KUPPET was basically 9,000. But as I talk today, the membership of KUPPET is 46,000 registered members. So you can see that we have achieved astronomical. We have grown in numbers, and that number is more than 300%. So that one is an achievement in terms of growth. But we have also seen certain changes that KUPPET has now been recognized in the instruments of governance, and especially of labor, so that we now sit at the high table where the cake is being cut and distributed.
Teachers are known very much when it comes to strike. They do perfect it. And history has it that there has been a number of strikes from the teachers. And like you're saying, then the citizens are asking, is it that the only teachers are concerned about more of their pay than the education itself?
I want to to persuade the public and any other party interested in teachers. The teachers are not strike happy, as being alluded to. Teachers are professionals and they would wish to discharge their duties professionally. But our issues have not been addressed the way they are supposed to be. Countries which are known to have included teachers and have considered the teachers as real professionals are doing well. Japan, Malaysia, Finland and so on. You don't come to have issues related to the ones which are facing Kenyan teachers, because those governments are keen to ensure that remuneration package of teachers is not something which is subject to strikes. It is something which is quantified in terms of the role of teachers and the value that they attach to teaching. So in the circumstances it is being alluded to, we are not strike happy.
National examinations have kicked off for the KCSE, and some teachers are already complaining to NEC on the allowances during the examination period. I don't know what's your take on this.
We are also interrogating this aspect of allowances. You realize that the teacher service, the Kenya National Examination Council does not want to address the issues which are being raised by teachers. One of them, this is a new contractual regime, because the teacher is not only in class, but you are confining the teacher for a 2-week, 3-week kind of a program under intense pressure to perform better, because this is the life. When a teacher holds a paper of a candidate, that is the life of that candidate. So that person needs not to put a lot of pressure on the person who have engaged him or her to be paid well. It should be known that this is work which is supposed to be properly paid. But the Kenya National Examination Council has been very, very insensitive on this matter. So I feel that because now they are operating on an enhanced act of parliament, we would take Kenya National Examination Council to task and to account for the money which they charge per candidate and the budgetary allocation from the treasury, how they use it. Because this is not money which is supposed to be saved. It is supposed to be used and expended for the purposes of managing credible and examination purposes. If they don't want to do that, then we will ask teachers in future to review the relationship with Kenya National Examination Council.
How wise is it for Kenya to, change from the 844 system to the 2633 as proposed?
It is wise for us to incorporate early childhood education in our system, and then to reconsider redesigning the curriculum content of what is to be carried out in 844. With me having taught for the number of years I've indicated at the introduction, I don't slight 844 in any standards. I did not undergo it as a student, but I taught all my students were those who went through the 844, and I really appreciate that it is not a bad system as such. But one thing which is there is that it lacked the prerequisite of early childhood education. So once you bring that one into the system, then 844 cannot remain 844. We must have a system which is either 2844 or 2633 as is being proposed.
We change the content of the curricula.
Yeah.
What other education reforms do you think the country ought to kind of focus on right now, and especially with the transition, kind of everything, the government structures are changing? What are the education reforms that you feel ought to be in place?
Governance, and governance. What has really messed our education system is that you realize that the governance structure is not clear. You find everybody talking about education when they know very little about education. Yes, it should have an all-inclusive approach to governance, but it should be formally structured. And I'm very glad that the Minister for Education, who is very progressive, is coming up with what we call the New Education Act, and the bill is already published. It has recommended far-reaching recommendations which are supposed to spark off education.
Just as you said from the very beginning, it was out of NAT not addressing some issues of the teachers that KUPPET was formed. Do you ever foresee NAT and KUPPET coming together to form one unit?
That one we give it a chance, but we are where we are because of the existence of KNUT. Because look at what they came up with recently when there was the strike. the idea of legal notice number 534, the idea of legal notice number 16 for 2003. You know, we need to play clean, even if we are unions. We don't want to have an environment where we are exposing our ignorance when we actually are supposed to be the leaders of opinion and the leading lights in giving everybody direction. KNUT has made us to negotiate and to go on strike every year. Because when the Adongo scheme was implemented in 1997, the KNUT leadership went and varied this negotiation through their signed agreement on 3rd December 2002. And this is what culminated into the legal notice number 16 of 2003. So they went out, and when we were on strike, they were telling the teachers there that there was a fraud. And then when the public minister for state and public service came and tabled the agreement, our colleagues decided to disappear. So it means that, and these are the people who have made us to have the impression that teachers are strike happy. We are not strike happy. So if they are going to be constructive, I'm seeing a situation whereby we are going to meet somewhere and we may have a Federation of Kenyan Teachers. And it will be hurrah. That will be the end of government meddling in our affairs.
At KUPPET, what legacy do you want to leave?
A very vibrant legacy. One, I want you to understand one element, that we want to make teaching a very lucrative profession once again. And we have started by telling the public that this is where you belong. You know, we told you, I did indicate to you that I belong to a family of teachers, but every one of them does not want to recall the past, because teaching has become a laughing stock. So in the circumstance, as I leave KUPPET, which is not going to be long, I'll not be in KUPPET for life. I will want to leave a legacy where teaching is once again revered as a noble profession.
Leaving KUPPET, where are you headed?
I may have so many options, because you can see I'm still not very old. If once I leave after my next term, because I want to make structures. Thereafter, I can go back to teach if I'm not yet 70. But I can also try my luck in some of these political arrangements. But that one is for another day.
Out of your own kind of interest in teaching and in the education of the country, what is your call to Kenyans when it comes to education?
We have to take education seriously, because it is what can make this country change face. It is education which makes us equal. If we ignore education, and if we ignore teachers for this matter, then we shall have an education which will not be useful to this country. So my call is to invite everybody who is interested in education. Let us invest in education, and let us invest also in our teachers. Let us see education as the only parameter of growth. Because if we don't look at education, then we will perish. Then let everybody look at it from the angle that it is what is going to spur what they now call the flagship of development, the Vision 2030. It is education. Okay. Nothing else. Yeah.
What do you have to say to the candidates?
Candidates, I wish them well. In fact, I wish them well, and I wish that the examiners also do their good job, so that we have the best candidates joining Form 1, the best candidates going to public universities and other middle-level colleges.
Thank you viewer for staying with us. That was Akelo Misori. You heard him. He is the Secretary General of KUPPET, and we wish you all the best. Thank you very much, sir, for having time to
Thank you very much for giving me a chance to be at GBS.
Thank you very much.
It has been a great honor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.